We're back. AWAN Answers. Episode, what are we on? Episode 9. Episode 9 of AWAN Answers. I know I haven't done one of these episodes in quite a while, but you guys have been asking me on Snapchat to bring it back. So we're back. As a lot of you guys will probably already know, I've been doing a bunch of episodes of my J2B, which is my journey to $1 billion. And for those of you who haven't seen it, guys, click here, my J2B, and you'll be able to see what it's really like to be on the entrepreneurial journey. None of this, here I've made it, here's my fancy car stuff, just the truth, what it's really like, the early mornings, the late nights, putting in the work, actually getting things done, working through obstacles and deadlines and hurdles. So go check it out. Let me know what you think as well. But this is AWAN Answers. This is my Q&A where I answer your entrepreneurial and startup questions. There's no such thing as too simple of a question, so whatever it is, ask it away. But remember, there's a catch. You can only do so via Snapchat, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw my Snapchat code up right here, pause the video, screenshot it, upload that onto your Snapchat so you can add me as a friend, and then ask your questions there, and I'll try to include it in the next episode. All right, so without further ado, let's get into episode 9 of AWAN Answers. Let's get it. Question number 1. If you could time travel back to day 1 of your startup and have 15 minutes with your former self to communicate any lessons you've acquired with the intention of saving yourself mistakes and heartache, what would you tell yourself? Let's get emotional, guys. Why so emotional? The first question back. But honestly, guys, this is a super important question and it's one we should really cover. But before that is just life, right? Life is about growing, becoming better, learning from your mistakes, and then improving all the time. And so it's good to reflect and to improve, but sometimes you have to accept some things you won't know at that point. You're only going to learn it later. But as soon as you do learn the lesson, make sure you don't make that mistake again. That's just insanity. All right? And the thing I would say is, in my early ventures, I was a bit too emotional. I was emotionally attached to my businesses. And I know some of this is just going to go straight over your head. You can be like, oh, he's just telling me this. And I probably thought the same when I was younger. But don't get too emotionally attached to your businesses, guys. Business, at the end of the day, is business. And there are certain metrics and science and quantitative data you need to be hitting and measuring in order for it to be a viable product. And I think in my early ventures, in some of my previous startups, I think I was a bit guilty of getting too emotionally attached. I was just blindly saying, yeah, this is going to work, because I believed in my product so much, but the figures were telling me something different. There was no demand, or this wasn't going to work, and the financials weren't stacking up. And it's at that point that I should have just emotionally detached and went with my business instincts. And it's surprising. I thought I was good at this, right? My previous background was being an investment banker, and we had trades going, and I was never emotionally attached. I always had a stop loss. I knew when to exit my trades and cash in the money. But in business, it's a bit different, right? It's your money on the line. It's your idea which you're passionate about. So it's very easy to get emotionally caught up. So if I could go back, that's one of the things I would tell myself. But knowing the kind of guy I am and was at the time, I probably would have said, yeah, I'm not going to get emotionally attached. But I did. So yeah, if it's something you can digest and do, then by all means, try to make yourself less emotionally attached. But sometimes it's just one of the things you learn the hard way. All right, let's get to question 2. Question 2, how can you minimize the unknowns? Minimizing unknowns. Now, I'm not too sure what this question is supposed to mean. The unknowns are the unknowns, right? And so how can you minimize them? Now, you can minimize the effects of them by being proactive, by reacting and just kind of working out the best way to get through a difficult obstacle. But the factor of the matter is things go wrong, and your ability and how you will be remembered as an entrepreneur, or how people will judge you as an entrepreneur, is your ability to firefight in these circumstances. When something arises at 4 a.m. in the morning and hits you on the blind side, which you weren't expecting, and you got a product launch in 3 hours, how do you react? Now, an entrepreneur will make things happen. Somebody who's not an entrepreneur will make excuses. And if you're prone to making excuses, you need to be asking yourself, do you have the entrepreneurial attributes that you need? Because regardless of what hurdles or obstacles or fog there is in the way, you need to be able to maneuver yourself that path. That's the whole point, right? If you're in a corporate background or you're in a stable job, then your path it's there. You can follow that path and you know where you're going to go. You know when the money's going to come in, i.e. a monthly paycheck or a yearly paycheck, and you can follow that. You know when the hurdles are going to be, when the challenges are going to be. Maybe you have an exam to qualify to become a better surgeon. But as an entrepreneur, you don't know when your key challenges are going to be. They can come tomorrow. They can come next week. They can come right now. When things seem all hunky-dory, the next moment something blindsides you. And so you constantly need your fog lights on. The road ahead is never clear. And your ability to be comfortable in that mindset, knowing that you can't see 100 meters down the road, but confident in your ability that you will react when the issue comes, that's what defines you as an entrepreneur. So yes, whilst I do advise you to do your research, be proactive, try to find and preempt what issues could arise, ultimately you need to be able to react in the moment, find a solution, never accept no for an answer. And just to link that back, we just had our annual conference last week, which is one of the reasons why you've not seen one of these episodes in a long time. But even in a conference which takes 6 months worth of planning, where we put our team through, planning out all the possible things that can go wrong and making sure we've got everything organized, things still go wrong. And so it's important, and one of the first things we tell our team members is things will go wrong. And it's going to be you who's judged on your ability to react in that moment under pressure and find the solution. So, like I said, entrepreneurship is a journey on a motorway where you can't see 100 meters ahead and you've got your fog lights on, but you still can't see nothing. But you know you're in control of that car because you know if something came out in the middle of the road, you can react because you've got the tools, ability, focus, and intensity to make it happen. You're just that tenacious that you're not going to accept no for an answer. All right? All right, last question for this episode. What are your non-work related habits that help you with your work-life balance? Interesting. Okay, so to keep things simple, my life is very simple. And there's not many things I do outside of work. And when people call it work, the reason I'm using inverted commas is I don't see what I do as work. And when you're passionate about what you do, that's what happens. It's not work. It's not a job. I choose to do it every day I wake up. And if you're doing something which you've not chosen to do and you're just being forced into doing it and you're happy to be there and not happy, but you're leaving yourself to be in that position for the long term without a solution to get somewhere, then there's a problem. You need to mix it up. And now I know there'll be a lot of you who are very entrepreneurial but are currently caught up in a job. That's fine. As long as you don't see yourself there forever. You know it's just a lily pad for you to jump and leapfrog to your next phase in life as an entrepreneur. But it's those people that are in a job, are not making any plans to get out of it, and they're unhappy, and they complain, I just don't get it. For me, fundamentally, there is no such thing as work-life balance, right? For me, it's all blended. But outside of the conventional, what people think of as work and me running my startups and business, I love to read, I love to spend time with my family, I'm a spiritual guy, and I also spend a lot of time doing fitness. And what I do to make sure I connect all four of those areas is I make sure I improve on all the key traits that I needed even within business. And within business, what do you need? You need focus, you need commitment, you need that intensity to get things done, you need to be able to measure how you're performing and get better results. And so when I'm doing my fitness work, when I'm boxing, when I'm doing weightlifting or any other sports, I'm making sure I'm measuring, I'm making sure I'm focused, I'm dedicated, I'm committed, I don't skip sessions. And all those things carry through to my business. A dedicated person is not just dedicated in one aspect of their life. They're dedicated in everything, right? Now, when you're passionate about something, like maybe you're passionate about football, then of course you're going to put hard work into it. But a dedicated person can put in hard work into something which they don't enjoy because they know what results they want to achieve on the back end. And so in the short term, they'll eat the dirt knowing that they can then enjoy the fruits of it later on. All right? So that's me. Work-life balance is not a thing for me. I enjoy everything I do, and I do choose to do it, which is why I do it. And if I didn't enjoy it, I'd change my circumstance. And for the people that are out there say, oh no, you don't understand, I'm stuck in a full-time job, I need to do this, I need to do that. I was there. I quit. I just quit my job, quit a high-paying salary, and I knew that it wasn't for me. I felt like I was in shackles. And as soon as I let those shackles go, I found creative entrepreneurial solutions to get the money I need, to pay the bills I needed to pay my rent, etc. And so if you really want it bad enough, you will find a way. But just sitting there and accepting that this is the situation I'm in, I can't help you with that. All right? So that was it. Those were my 3 questions for episode 9 of AWAN Answers. I'm hoping I can get these videos to you a lot more regularly. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps me out. Share this video with your friends or people you think will find it useful. And I'll be back with another very soon. And finally, for those that still haven't watched an episode of my journey to $1 billion, be sure to check out. I think you'll enjoy it. Drop me a comment. Let me know how you found it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.